Good morning, St. Francis. It is Tuesday, August the 17th, 2021, Tuesday of the 20th week of the year, the 20th week in Ordinary Time, coming to you from the parking lot on another occasion. There is the main entrance into the church building proper behind me that leads into the Memorial Garden and the wall of the Memorial Garden right there. The steps that then lead on the other side to the pastoral offices. On this Tuesday of the 20th week in Ordinary Time, we continue in Judges, in which God begins to call the first of the judges, Gideon, who himself does not think he is worthy enough to lead the people of Israel. God finds in him virtue and strength and courage to be able to do so, and Gideon rises to the occasion. In the gospel, we continue after the rich young man has left Jesus' company, after being told that he needs to give away everything that he has, sell it to the, give it to the poor, sell it and give the money to the poor. Jesus goes on then to say in Matthew's gospel how difficult it is for the rich to enter the kingdom of God, or the wealthy to enter the kingdom of God, the camel through the eye of the needle. Peter's response, then, who can be saved, might seem a bit odd if we do not remember that, again, wealth and privilege and riches and whatever, in some places in ancient Judaism, was considered a blessing by God. That's why sometimes the poor could be seen as cursed, because they did not have these kinds of things. So they must have done something to offend God, and so then thereby deprive them of riches, of wealth, of notoriety, of whatever it is. Jesus, again, will change that, and basically goes on to say to Peter, who then says, we've given up everything to follow you, what's in it for us? Which is, always an interesting question that, again, Jesus does not condemn. He does not strike Peter dead. He does not, tell Peter that he has to go away or anything like that. But Jesus says, again, if you're going to follow me, then you're going to get, 100-fold more than what you have now in this world. But remember that the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Again, Jesus beginning to reorient and switch around this sort of mistaken understanding of God's love and God's favor among people, which is not just given to the wealthy and to those with power and those with means, but God's love is given to everyone. In the midst of all of this, again, Peter's consternation about what all of this means and what following God, following Jesus means, is, again, a very good question to ask. Because in this world today that we live in, it can seem very difficult, to follow God, to follow Jesus. Well, basically to follow God or follow Jesus only because we want something in the end. We want bad times to end. We want sickness to end. We want our difficulties to end. And all God becomes is a magician and a magic miracle worker. And that's not what God is. In many ways, what we need to think about in last Sunday's celebration of the Assumption carries over to today. What the Assumption means, basically, is that the world began in goodness and it will end in goodness. In between, it's a mess. And it's up for us to have faith and courage and understanding, again, that God knows what God is doing to lead us through this mess back into the reclamation of goodness that this world was created in. Always important to remember, the world is not created in sin, and anybody who tells you that doesn't know what they're talking about. The world is created in goodness that only comes from God, and so it always has to be more powerful and greater than any sin or brokenness that we could ever commit. When we forget about that, when we think that we have to be the masters of our own futures and our own devices and whatever it is, well, then we go down paths of arrogance, like unfortunately that rich young man does, thinking that we can hold it all together, that we can control it, and that we can decide for ourselves what our future will be. It is only God who will decide, and it is us to be able to follow that and understand what these decisions of God for our future are and mean for us. That it all makes sense in the end is what we hold on to. We hold on to the fact that God says it will make sense in the end in goodness. And may the Lord give you his peace.